Pesachim 3a. If a woman miscarries on the evening or of the 81st day, Beis Shammai exempts her from a sacrifice, whereas Beis Hillel declares her liable. Said Beis Hillel to Beis Shammai, "Wherein does the evening or of the 81st differ from the day of the 81st? Seeing that it was assimilated thereto in respect of uncleanness, shall one not assimilate it thereto in respect of sacrifice?" Now, since Beis Hillel says to Beis Shammai, "Wherein does the evening or of the 81st differ from the day of the 81st?" it follows that or is evening. This proves it. New moon was fixed by direct observation, not calculation, and communities at a distance from Jerusalem were informed by bonfires. These were lit only if the new moon appeared in its due time. It was fixed for the 30th day, the previous month, thus consisting of 29 days only. In that case, too, Beis Din formally sanctified this day. But if observation fixed it for the 31st day, no bonfires were lit, since the absence of bonfires on the previous day would be a sufficient signal. Further, new moon was not formally sanctified by Beis Din. An objection is raised. One might think that it may be eaten on the evening of the third day from sacrifice. And it is logical. Sacrifices are eaten on one day, while peace offerings are eaten on 2 days. Just as the night follows the day, so too the night should follow the day. Therefore it is stated, "It shall be eaten the same day ye offer it, and on the morrow, and if aught remain until the third day, it shall be burnt with fire," teaching, it may be eaten only during the day, but it may not be eaten during the evening or the third day. One might think that it must be burnt immediately, and this is logical. Sacrifices may be eaten one day and one following the night. While peace offerings may be eaten 2 days and one intermediate night, just as they're immediately after time allowed for eating, there is burning, so to here immediately after the time allowed for eating, there is burning. Therefore it is stated, "But that which remaineth of the flesh of the sacrifice, on the third day it shall be burnt with fire," teaching, you must burn it by day, but you must not burn it by night. Since he states it may be eaten in the evening or the third day, it follows that this is the evening. This proves it. Come in here. Toshima, on the evening or of the Day of Atonement, one recites 7 benedictions and confesses. In the morning service he recites 7 and confesses. In the additional service he recites 7 and confesses. At Mincha he recites 7 and confesses. At Ne'ilah, the concluding service, he recites 7 and confesses. In the evening service he recites 1 benediction embodying the 18. Rav Hanina ben Gamliel said, on the authority of his fathers, he must recite the 18 benedictions in full because he must pronounce Havdalah. Thou dost graciously grant knowledge. Atachon and Tanu. This proves that or is evening. This proves it. Coming here, from the school of Shmuel learned The school of Shmuel learned in the evening of the 14th, leaven is searched for by light of a lamp, thus proving that Or is evening. The fact is, both Rav Huna and Rav Yehuda are alike, agreeing that Or is evening, and there is no controversy. Each master speaks in accordance with his locality. In Rav Huna's town, they called it Nahi, while in Rav Yehuda's town, they called it Leil. In our Tana, why does he not employ Leil? He employs a refined expression, and in accordance with Joshua ben Levi. For Reb Joshua ben Levi said, one should not utter a gross expression with his mouth. For lo, the writ employs a circumlocution of 8 letters, rather than a gross expression. For it is said, of every clean beast, and of the beasts that are not clean. Rav Papa said 9, for it said, if there be among you any man that is not clean by reason of that which chanceth by night. Ravina said 10, including the Vav of Tahor. Rav Yaakov said 16, for it said, for he taught, something hath befallen him. He is not clean. Surely, he is not clean. The school of Rabbi Ishmael taught, one should always discourse in decent language, for lo, the case of a Zav is called riding, while in connection with a woman is called sitting, as it is said, and thou shalt choose the tongue of the subtle, as it is said, and that which my lips know they shall speak purely. Why quote, and it is said? For should you object, that is only in the case of Scripture, but not in the case of rabbinical discussions. Then come in here, and it is said, and thou shalt choose the tongue of the subtle. You should still object that is only in reference to rabbinical discussions, but not secular matters. And come in here, and it is said, that which my lips know, they shall speak purely. Now is writing not written in connection with the woman, but surely it is written, and Rivka arose, and her damsels, and they rode upon the camels. There it was natural through fear of the camels. But it is written, and Moses took his wife and his sons, and made them ride on a donkey. There, Gimel Amud Beis 3b. It was natural on account of his sons. But it is written, and it was so, as she rode on her donkey. There it was natural through fear of the night. Alternatively, there was no fear of the night, but there was fear of David. Another alternative, there was no fear of David either, but there was fear of the mountain. Yet it is not unclean. Yet is not unclean written in Scripture. Rather, wherever they are equally convenient. Scripture discourses in refined language. But wherever more words would be required, the shorter phraseology is employed. As Rav Huna said in Rav's name, others say Rav Huna said in Rav's name, on Reb Meir's authority, one should always teach his pupil in concise terms, and where they are equally discourses in refined speech, yet surely writing, rocheveth, and sitting, yosheveth, are like in length, yet writing is stated. Racheveth is stated. 2 disciples sat before Rav. One said, this discussion has made us as tired as an exhausted swine. While the other said, this discussion has made us as tired as an exhausted kid. Rav would not speak to the former. There were two disciples who sat before Hillel, one of whom was Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, others state before Rabbi, and one of them was Rabbi Yochanan. One said, "Why must we vintage grapes in cleanness, yet need not gather olives in cleanness?" While the other said, "Why must we vintage in cleanness, yet may gather olives in uncleanness?" I am certain that the latter will be authorized teacher in Israel. He observed, and it did not take long before he was an authorized teacher in Israel. There were three priests. One said, "I received as much as a bean of the showbread." The second said, "I received as much as an olive," while the third said, "I received as much as a haltah's tail." They investigated his pedigree and found a blemish of unfitness in him. But we learned, one must not investigate from the altar and above. Do not say a blemish of unfitness, but a baseness, which made it unfit. Alternatively, there was different because he impaired his status himself. A certain Syrian, non-Jew, used to go and partake of the Passover sacrifices in Jerusalem, boasting, as written, "There shall be no alien to eat thereof, no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof. Yet I eat of the very best." Yehuda ben Besair said to him, "Did they supply you with the fat tail?" "No," he replied. "Then, when you journey up," says to them, "supply me with the fat tail." When he went up, he said, "Supply me with the fat tail. The fat tail belongs to the Most High." They replied, "Who told you this?" They inquired. "Yehuda ben Besair," answered he. "What is this matter before us?" They wondered. They investigated his pedigree and discovered that he was a Syrian, and they killed him. Then they sent a message to Rabbi Yehuda ben Besair, "Peace be with thee, Rabbi Yehuda ben Besair, for thou art in the Sebis, yet thy net is spread in Jerusalem." Rabbi Kohanan fell sick, so the rabbi sent Rabbi Yeshua, son of Rabbi Edi, instructing him, "Go and find out what's wrong with him." He went and found him dead. Thereupon he rent his garment, and turned the rent behind him, and went along weeping. "He has died?" asked they of him. "I have not said it," he answered, "for he that ushereth evil tidings is a fool." Rabbi Yochanan of Hukok went out to some villages. On his return, he was asked, "Has the wheat crop been successful? The barley crop has been successful." He replied, "Go out and tell it to horses and donkeys." They retorted, "For it is written, barley also, and straw for the horses, and swift steeds." What then should he have said? Last year, the wheat crop was successful, or the lentil crop was successful.